shot is like
I'll tell you what, New York is looking lovely.
It's going to give me a cloudy spring day.
You like that business? Okay. It feels as though you're not stressed. Well, listen, welcome back. We started the show asking you what stresses you out in honor of April, which is National Stress Month. Here are your answers. Looks like finances are leading the pack, relationships, families, price of gas, politics.
Bottom left.
The Cross Bronx.
4%.
You know what?
Thank you.
I'm gonna double down on the Cross Bronx. Robert Moses stresses me out.
I'll give you the F. I'll see yours and raise you an FDR.
All right. Okay, so now we know what stresses most of our viewers out.
Finances,
now we need to figure out how we cope with all of this business.
Yep. Dr. Rachel Goldman is a licensed psychologist, and her new book, When Life Happens, helps us manage our lives and handle those stressors. It's Pub Day, which means she's published her book today. I didn't know what that meant.
It's okay.
Thought we were going to the bar after this, but apparently
we can do that too.
That's so happy Pub Day.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much.
Pub Day at a pub. Yeah.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me. And yes, we're here to talk about stress because so many people are feeling the stress of everything going on right now.
Right. And we just tried to put labels on some stress. There is a whole host of other things that we couldn't fit on that screen that people are dealing with every day. Can you explain what exactly is stress? What is happening to us physiologically?
Yeah. So stress is actually our body's natural way of responding to a threat. But the thing is, the threat could be a perceived threat or a real threat. Perceived meaning it could be a made-up scenario in our head.
Which is a lot of the times the case.
It often is because we all have these unhelpful thoughts, which I actually talk a lot about in the book, these unhelpful thoughts, because our thoughts make us then lead to an emotion and lead to a behavior. So if a thought feels real, our body's going to react to that because of the mind-body connection. So what happens is our body actually scans for these threats, and if it thinks there's a danger, then our body automatically goes into the fight or flight response, which is the stress response.
I love looking things up online, like ailments, and being like, do I have this? Do I have this? 99% of the causes of these, like, horrible, is stress.
Yeah.
You know, there's a multitude of things, but the stress is always like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's an incredibly powerful chemical situation that's happening in your body.
Yeah. So stress can exacerbate a lot of chronic illnesses. Absolutely. And there was even a research study that I mentioned in the book as well, done years ago at Penn State, that says that it actually isn't the stressor itself, but the way that we respond to stress that predicts our health a decade later.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that is so mind-blowing for people to hear.
Yeah.
Right? It's the way that we respond to stress. It's not the actual stressor itself.
Which could be anger, which could be depression, which could be a number of things, right?
Exactly.
Fear,
and that's why it's important
things.
that we have these coping tools and ways to better manage stress so then we can kind of get that under control.
All right, let's get to the coping. Exactly.
Yes.
Teach us how.
You say have a toolbox.
Yes.
What do we put in this toolbox?
Yeah, so I think everybody should have a coping toolbox that is unique to them. And what I mean by that is if I told you what's in mine, it may not work for you. So when you're feeling stressed, you may not go out on a run if that's not how you cope, right? So it's really important that we take a moment to pause and think, what do I actually see myself doing in those situations? And this visual is so great because I always recommend that we have at least 3 tools in our toolbox, but one of them needs to be something that's internal. What I mean by that is nobody needs to know you're doing it. You don't need anything else to do it. So not like calling a friend or playing mahjong or one of those other things that you need something like a breathing exercise that in the moment, right now, like we could all do it and nobody would need to know that we were doing it.
I like that.
That pause you discussed just now, too, is essential, I find.
Yeah.
Because we react so quickly without thought. And that moment where you're like, you're about to react, it's a horrible it's a bad idea, don't do it.
You're right. I know. I feel like everybody needs
We need to take that beat.
right now.
We're New Yorkers, we don't take beats. Come on.
Don't do that. But that pause allows us to reset and ground ourselves to then be able to appropriately respond instead of react. We often react out of emotion, that impulsive action, that behavior. But if we just pause, I like to think of it as hitting the reset button.
Yes.
Take the pause.
Don't do something, just stand there, is what a
Just
therapist once told me. Can we pop up that toolbox again? Because it's chock full of fantastic things.
I was loving the top right, personally.
Taking a bath?
That's my thing.
Is it?
I'm a bubble bath man.
I like
you
that.
learn something new every day, right?
And I just lost a lot of credibility.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
No, I love it. And you know what? But what's great is that you know what's in your toolbox.
Right.
Like you're like, I got that. That works for me. That's the key. Because again, if you don't see yourself doing it, it's not going to work.
And I also think sometimes what's in your toolbox evolves. Because when I was younger, I would run and run and run and run to where now, like in the last 5 years, I'm like, I'm tired. And I'm like, you know what? I can sleep in today and my life is not going to fall apart. And it actually helps me show up in other areas.
So I love that you said that too, because you're absolutely right. Our toolbox should be evolving with us as we go through different phases of our life. We need to check in with ourselves and ask, what is working for me right now and what do I need right now? There might be a time that you are insightful enough about your body that you're like, running isn't going to work for me, but I need to rest. Right? Another day you may be like, I need to get this energy out. I'm going to go for a run. But you taking that pause and really turning inward is going to help you figure that out.
And have some fun. Try some tools.
Absolutely.
Try them.
them.
You know what? Tonight I'm going to try a bubble bath.
I got a great brand of bubbles. If you.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah,
too.
I'll hook you up.
We'll talk about this offline. Breathing exercise.
Let's do a breathing exercise if you will, please.
Yes, yeah. So usually I have people put both feet flat on the floor. When we practice, I like to put one hand on our chest and one hand on our belly. We don't have to do that in the moment, of course. The reason we do that is to see what's moving more. We want to try to minimize the movement on our chest and breathe through our diaphragm, okay?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a breath in from our nose while we are expanding our belly, okay? So we're going to breathe in, belly expands, and exhale.
Out the mouth or
through
nose?
our mouth, and our belly goes back in. Exactly. Take another breath in through the nose.
Are we doing this at a 4 count, or are we doing this at
You know what? Any count.
Okay.
What works for you. We're going to take a breath in through our nose.
Everybody's doing it right now.
And exhale. Oh, I love that everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it right now.
Let's take a breath in.
I need it.
And out.
I hope you're doing it at home right now.
Me too.
And if any distracting thoughts may arise while you're doing this, I want you to say to yourself, these are just thoughts. They're not facts. I can come back to them later. And then let's return to our breath one more time. Take a breath in. And out.
Dr. Rachel Goldman, thank you so much.
It's incredible how it works. I mean, I implement that into my life all the time, and it's incredible how it works every single time. I don't do this,
so
but
powerful.
breathing itself.
The breathing of it all.
Yeah, this